Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I want to talk about ways to simplify your life, things to bring peace into your home, to give you peace of mind. And there are so many simple ways to do this. Some may be more daunting than others, but in the end, you will feel such a release and a sense of freedom from material bondage when you do some of these things, or all of these things, but I'm talking about the ones in particular that might seem daunting. So let me get started with number one. Take the time to notice nature. When you go outside, really take it in. Breathe in the air, focus on your surroundings, take advantage of it, and notice this beautiful world that we live in. So often, we go outside, we jump in our cars, and we go, speedily to our destinations to do our things for the day, whether it's work or running errands, but we don't stop to really notice the nature and the beauty of the world around us. It's like so many of us have just forgotten that it exists, kind of like the stars in the sky. We go out at night, and when was the last time you really looked up at the stars and you just contemplated, you pondered your place in the universe, you wondered about the vastness of space? We just take for granted the beauty around us so often because we get too busy with our lives, too busy with our dramas and all of these society standards, trying to keep up with society and the world around us. And we just forget to stop and, I know it sounds cliche, smell the roses. But it's such an important aspect of living, is just enjoying what is there, enjoying God's creation, and just taking in the beauty of it all. And it fills you with such peace and warmth that it is one of the easiest and the free ways to just simplify your life and make your life more peaceful. Number two is staying on top of your cleaning. When you put something off, it just piles up. And a clean home is a peaceful home. If you notice, you might walk into someone's home who has a lot of clutter, a lot of just junk strewn everywhere, or they're just not clean. There's, stuff on the floor, or the dishes on the counter that have been sitting there for a few days. You don't feel as comfortable. It doesn't feel as welcoming as a home that is clean. One that you walk in, it smells nice, it smells fresh. There's not very much clutter, junking up the space. Everything has its place. But in particular, cleaning is so important because when we live in a clean environment, we're not only helping ourselves mentally and emotionally, but physically as well. Because as we know, certain levels of filth or bacteria or whatever the case may be can cause physical sickness. But I just know for me personally that keeping on top of things, when we use the dishes, I wash them immediately after. I do the sweeping the floors and mopping the floors 2 to 3 days a week because in particular, it also depends on where you live in your current circumstances. Where we live, there's a lot of dust outside. So it's every time we open the door or have the windows open, the dust and the concrete particles and all this stuff, it comes in and it just kind of coats everything. So I have to really stay on top of dusting and sweeping and mopping. But I enjoy it. I don't dread cleaning my home. I actually enjoy it because I love the way that it makes me feel when it is clean. And I love to walk into a home that is clean. Say you go somewhere, whether it's work or you go on a vacation or you just go out of town for a day or almost all day, and you come home and you're just tired, you're jet lagged, and the last thing you want to do is come home to a dirty house. So I always, before we leave anywhere, I always clean, make sure everything is clean and everything is in its proper place. The laundry is done. There's no dishes on the counter. The trash has been taken out. All of the trash cans in the bathroom and around my desk and such have been taken out, and everything is clean. And I like it that way. It makes me feel better about myself. It makes me enjoy my living space and have a more peaceful environment. Number 3 is purge unnecessary items in your home. Now, this comes with the whole decluttering episode that I plan to do very soon. But just to give you a quick rundown, decluttering is kind of common sense. You look around your home, you see things that are just kind of sitting on the counter somewhere, and they're kind of piling up. My husband has this problem with little piles of stuff here and there, and it's not that big of a deal. I try to stay on top of it. But if you just look around your home, and you can find little areas that might annoy you, things that stick out, even if they don't annoy you. Stacks of old mail sitting on a table somewhere, old magazines in a stack on the floor, things that you haven't used or touched or even thought about in 6 months. And, just kind of pare down. Get rid of things that don't bring you any kind of pleasure. They're not sentimental. They serve no purpose in your home. Declutter and get rid of all that stuff and make your space more open and inviting, not just to outsiders, but to you. Because the less you have, the better it feels. And most people don't realize that until they experience it. So just try to, do a few things at a time. But me, I love organization and decluttering. I've talked about it in previous episodes where I just purge everything. I used to once every 6 months or every year, I would go through my house and just declutter, just get rid of as much as I possibly could. And it was such a freeing feeling just taking all of that stuff off my hands. And, I know not everybody's the same, but I can almost promise you that if you did it at least once, and then you took a step back and you looked at your new, clean, open space, and it makes you feel so good inside. Now, number 4 kind of coincides with number 3, and that is to make your space cozy. And one way of doing that is, this is a personal preference. I know that not everyone will agree to this or like this idea, but I just want to talk about it because I like it in particular. And that is getting rid of chaotic colors. And that's the one reason why I stood in this spot today to do this episode. As you can see behind me, I have one bright yellow color on this wall. And then over here, I have another color, a blue color, and I'm going to insert some video here. I have these multicolor curtains that were supposed to match the colors of the wall. The rest of my small space here is very chaotic. And this is something that I am now working toward changing. When I first moved here, I just wanted to kind of be in tradition with the Mexican colors. They always have bright reds and oranges and turquoise and blue and just a lot of bright popping colors here in this country. And while at first I kind of wanted to do that, obviously, because I got the different color walls and everything, I quickly realized after painting this wall yellow that is just not me. It's not my thing to have a bunch of wild, bold colors. Now, for the Mexican culture, it's perfect, obviously. And for some people, you may prefer colors like that. You like bold, popping colors. But for me personally, I really lean toward more neutral and pastels, light, soft colors. And I have noticed that color does affect my mood pretty dramatically here, because since I've painted these walls, and then I've got all this other stuff going on in here, as you can see in the video, it's kind of chaotic in here. We've got cords hanging down everywhere from our air conditioners and the TV, and it's just, of course it's such a small space and it's a little difficult to arrange things to where it looks nice, but it's not impossible. And that now is one of my big goals while I'm living here in Mexico in the moment, is to make our small space as beautiful and cozy and peaceful as possible. And my husband had even said it first. He was the one that mentioned he would rather have the walls white. We were looking at an old video where we were staying in another studio apartment in Ciudad del Carmen, and there wasn't any furniture in it at the time when we were doing the video because we were cleaning it, and it was right before we moved in, and we didn't have any furniture anyway, but it looks so clean. But we just love that clean, open, neutral space, the colors. And so that is what I plan to do here. I want to make this space less chaotic, because I know that when your home is cluttered, when your home has colors that don't agree with you, whatever colors you're not used to or your personal style, you feel uncomfortable. And I absolutely feel uncomfortable in this studio as far as all the chaos that I'm surrounded by. I would love to make it to where when I open the door, it's just fresh, it's bright. And another thing about colors like this is they tend to darken a space. So if I have the walls white or like an off-white color and then do the decor, I'm thinking maybe light yellow and blue and brown, something like that, just something neutral and something clean, then it's going to make a world of difference, and it's going to be so much brighter in here. My videos the video quality might even be better. I don't know, but that is my goal. It's gonna take some time to accomplish that. Painting the walls in particular is going to be a big job. So I'm gonna keep you updated, and I'm gonna show all the progress here on my channel and eventually the end result. I'm looking forward to that. But declutter and make your space less chaotic, and find a color scheme that resonates with you, something that brings you peace and harmony and makes it look clean and open and airy. Number 5 is to simplify your meals. Now, we in this household are like a 2 meal per day. We only eat breakfast in the morning, and we eat lunch together in the middle of the day, about 1 o'clock. But after that, we do not eat dinner. It's just a personal choice. We don't like to eat typically after 5 or 6 o'clock because it's bad for digestion. But as far as the meals in particular go, there was so many times where I had this long menu of different meals that I planned to create for lunch throughout the week. And some of those meals had so many ingredients, and by the time I was done, there were so many dishes to wash, and sometimes I didn't even really enjoy the meal. They had too much of something in it that did not agree with me, and it would make me feel, uncomfortable. I would be bloated, and the rest of my day, especially after lunch, I would start to feel so fatigued, depending on what I ate, that it just kind of ruined the rest of the day for me, because then I just didn't feel like I could do anything else. I didn't have the mental capacity. I didn't have the energy to do anything anymore. But also just the preparation and the cooking at the time for certain meals was just so overwhelming that it stressed me out. So basically what I'm trying to say is simplify your meals by finding healthy meals that have few ingredients, that are easy to kind of throw together, and that you enjoy making and you enjoy eating. Don't try to always be elaborate. Save the elaborate stuff for when you have a guest over, or you want to cook something nice for your husband one day for maybe his birthday or a special occasion. or if you're making meals for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner or something like that. But unless you just love to cook, that's completely different. If you're just one of those people who love to cook, then by all means, if that gives you happiness and pleasure, cook to your heart's content. But for me personally, it's a little difficult. I'm not that great of a cook. I definitely can't bake very well. So I try to simplify all the things that we eat. And I have also noticed that it makes us feel better after, makes us feel not overly full, just enough to be satisfied and to enjoy the meal together. Now, number 6 is somewhat like number 1, and that's to take walks and enjoy the scenery. Of course, we already went over about enjoying nature and everything, but taking walks is so important, not just for your mental health, but for your physical health. We need to stay active because there's that saying, a body in motion stays in motion, a body at rest stays at rest. I know you've probably heard that before, but it is so true. One of the things that I miss greatly about living in Arkansas, in where I lived in North Little Rock, is walking in Burns Park every morning, being able to go to Pinnacle Mountain and the Old Mill and walking around downtown Little Rock. And there's so many places to walk and enjoy and to get that exercise in. And here, I can't do that at all. There's nowhere to walk outside. There's no sidewalks. Even if I just go walk down the street, there are stray dogs everywhere. My niece just got bit by a dog the other day. It was pretty bad. And it's just not ideal here. So take advantage where you are. If you have sidewalks, if you have a park nearby, if you just live on a safe street where you can walk around in your neighborhood, then do it, because it's so beneficial to your health just to get that walk in. If you just do 30 minutes of walking every single day, your health will improve dramatically. And I know this, at least in my case, because I've done it. I've been doing it. And even though I can't walk outside, I do have a treadmill. It's definitely not the same thing as going out into nature and breathing the fresh air, but I take advantage of it. I walk on my treadmill 30 minutes every single day, and I'm already losing weight. I just feel like I have more energy, and it is simplifying my life, because before I felt so lethargic. I was gaining weight, and I already knew this, that if I did not get up and walk, try to get the exercise in just 30 minutes a day, I'm pretty sure so many of us spend many more than 30 minutes a day just sitting around on our phones scrolling. So it can't be too hard to take 30 minutes of that scrolling time and just go outside and walk and better your health, which in turn also betters your mental health. So take advantage of it. Do it while you can. Don't wait until you get sick or until you gain a lot of weight, and then it's so much harder to take that weight off than it is to not gain it in the first place. So simplify your life by making yourself healthier and enjoying walks. Now, number 7 is also going to have a separate video on its own later. And that is getting rid of restricting clothes. But the video that I'm going to do later is going to be more than just restrictive clothes. It's going to be about modesty and all that kind of stuff. But in particular, for right now, I'm talking about making your life more simple. I used to wear jeans. And while they look good on us and, we think they feel good, we think they're comfortable, they really, for so many people, obviously not everybody, they're just too tight. Wearing clothes that are too tight for you can cause health problems. It can cause issues with blood flow. And I noticed that when I wore jeans that my ankles would swell more, probably because they were too tight in the hips and in the legs, and all of the blood flow was down in my feet. I don't know, but I just know that I always felt uncomfortable wearing jeans, even if they were the perfect fit. But I have opted, as you have noticed, I seem to wear, well, you can't really tell everything's a dress because you're only seeing me from the waist up, but I don't wear jeans anymore. I got rid of every single pair of jeans that I own. And I have a couple pairs of stretch pants for when the occasion warrants it. Like if I'm going to go fishing out in a boat or hiking somewhere, I definitely don't want to do that in a dress. So I'm always going to have a couple pairs of stretch pants on hand. You probably will never see me again in another pair of jeans. I just feel so much more comfortable wearing dresses and skirts and just loose fitting clothes. It doesn't have to be a dress or a skirt, but just stuff that's loose fitting and it's not restrictive. It's not choking you. And that in itself also just makes life so much more simple. And if you're wearing a dress, for instance, you don't have to worry about picking out a shirt that's going to look good. Which shirt do you want to wear today? You just put the dress on and you go about your business. And here in Mexico, with everything so hot, I prefer to wear dresses because it lets the air in. It helps me to breathe better. If I'm wearing tight, restrictive clothes in hot weather, it makes me feel miserable. I mean, the heat itself makes me miserable, and I don't want to add anything on to that. But I just know that even in cooler climates, it's not a terrible thing to wear clothes that are more loose fitting instead of form fitting and then just showing off your whole body. And that's another aspect to this, is the tighter your clothes, the more you're just showing off your body parts to other people, to other men. And, again, it's all about modesty. There will be another video on that another day. Now, number 8 is try reading a book instead of scrolling on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or any of these social media websites. Read a book or listen to an audiobook. There's this great big world out there and you want to keep up with it. I understand that. You want to see what's going on. But if you just take a step back, spend some time in a book and take your head out of the world for a little while, it does wonders for your peace of mind. Because we tend to doom scroll, as they call it. We tend to obsess over other people's lives and other people's appearances. We start to feel envious. We want to look like them. We get obsessed even with just watching the funny stuff, scrolling. I do. I'm on YouTube just scrolling, looking for funny cat videos and dog videos and and babies and things like that. But even that, I look up and it's like 2 hours later and I've been laying in my bed for 2 hours just scrolling through YouTube shorts. And I was like, wow, I just wasted 2 hours of my life looking at stuff that other people did. And this is not, if you just do it every now and then, nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing it every day like I was doing, it becomes a problem because you're giving your time and attention to things that are not beneficial to you whatsoever. And then in a lot of cases can make you more stressed and make you more envious and jealous of other people, make you feel inadequate because you don't have what these other people have, or you're not living this lifestyle that these other people are living. And just read a book. It's so comforting, and you're getting whisked off into another world altogether, and you're in the quiet. You don't have all of this stuff going on in the back of your head about what you read or what you saw or what these people are doing or what those people are doing. Just read a book. Just try it. It will help to simplify your life. Now, number 9 is to eliminate unneeded monthly expenses. A really big way to simplify your life is to simplify your finances. Lessen the bills that you pay every month. There are so many people, and I was included in this, paying for subscriptions that we don't even use. I even have to admit that I didn't really use Netflix that much. I didn't use it enough to warrant paying what I was paying every single month for it for several years. Because half the time when I would watch Netflix, I would spend an hour surfing through all of the choices, trying to find something to watch. And then I would end up getting so bored doing that by the time I found something, or maybe I didn't find something, I didn't feel like watching anything anyway. Or I would just put something on to have in the background. I can easily do that for free with Tubi TV or Freevee or all these other apps. I mean, YouTube has free stuff. I watch YouTube all the time, but there are so many things that we pay for that we don't use, or that we think we use, but we really, if you just analyze it, stop and analyze it for a minute. How often do you use that thing? Just go through your things, and you might even find some stuff that you're paying for that you forgot about. That happened with a family member of mine. She'd been paying for over 2 years for something. It just kept, deducting it from her account every month. And she was one of those people that didn't really know how to keep track very well of her bank account. And I asked her, because she asked me to go through her finances one day, and I asked her, what is this charge? And she told me what it was. And come to find out, it was just some random app that she had bought on her phone one day. And she used it once or twice, never used it again, and she was still paying for it. So really sit down one day, look at all of your bank accounts, all of your credit card statements, and find anything that looks like it shouldn't be there, something that you don't recognize. Find out what it is. If it's a subscription, you don't use it, cancel it. You're just giving money to people that don't need it. If you really want to just throw away money like that, give it to a charity, or buy a homeless man some food, or there's so many things you can do if you just really want to get rid of money that easily. There's so many other people that could benefit from it. But the most important thing is you simplify your finances by getting rid of these unwanted subscriptions or these unused, unneeded subscriptions. And you have more money for yourself to do things that you do love to do. Now, number 10 is kind of like number 9. Simplify your phone. Go through your phone, and if you're one of those people who have tons and tons of apps, half the time you're not even really using them. You just downloaded them for a one-time use, or you wanted to try something out, you never got around to deleting it. Those apps, not only are they draining your battery life and causing your phone to run slower than it would if they weren't on there, but it's also kind of like mental clutter. Because every time you pick up your phone and you have to turn several pages just to find an app you want, it weighs heavily on your mind, one of those things that weigh heavily on your mind, and you just don't realize it. But if you have apps on your phone that are of no use, take them off. Apps can also introduce spam and viruses and such into your phone, and you just don't want all that crap cluttering up your phone. So my advice is just to go through and pare down your apps. Keep the ones that you use all the time and just get rid of everything else. Number 11 way to simplify your life is to learn to say no. If you're like me, you're one of those people who most of your life you've been a people pleaser. You feel guilty if someone asks you for a favor. And you know that you can do it, so you don't want to say no to anybody. But the problem with this is it puts a lot on your plate. It becomes very stressful for you. And it definitely did for me for a long, long time. I don't do this anymore, and I haven't been this way for several years. When I did do it, it was so stressful because I would promise one person something, or give someone a ride somewhere, go to an appointment with someone, go to a birthday party. So many things that we've only got so much time in our day for ourselves and for our families and for the really important things in life. And I'm definitely not saying don't help people. I'm not saying tell everybody no. I'm just saying pick and choose the things that are most important to you. And if it's something that deep down the back of your mind you really don't want to do, that it's going to cause you stress, a good indication of that is when that person asks you and you immediately kind of sigh, or like you take a deep breath, and that's a good indication that that's not something that you want to do. I would suggest in a kind way saying, I can't really help you right now, I'm sure you can come up with a way, but learn to say no, simplify your life, and stop being a people pleaser. Now, number 12 is kind of a funny one for me. It's to learn to smile more, even when you don't feel like it. Even when you are in such a terrible mood, just smile. Smile in the privacy of your home or wherever you're at. It is so weird how just forcing yourself to smile, I don't mean, that kind of fake smile. I mean a genuine smile. Just when you're down about something, when you've just got some bad news, when you're just not doing well, just smile and mean it. And it feels, it's like magic how it just instantly can change the way you feel about that situation. Just try it. Next time you get in a really bad mood, just smile. Learn to do that through everything. No matter what life throws at you, just get in the habit of smiling more. Number 13 is to choose peace over anger. I kind of did a whole episode on this in Practicing Grace in All Circumstances, but I'm going to reiterate here because it's so important to make your life more simple, to make your life more peaceful, is if you choose not to be offended about something, if you choose not to hold a grudge or get angry at someone for something that they did, no matter what it is, just choose to hold your tongue, take a step back, take a deep breath, and choose peace. Say to yourself, depending on the situation or the circumstance, I'm not going to let this person ruin my peace. And I'm not going to be angry at them. I'm not going to say hurtful things to them, even passive aggressively. A lot of us tend to do that, thinking we're holding our anger, but then if we use passive aggressive language or facial expressions, then it just really is the same thing as just saying something out loud with angry words. So just choose on the inside not to be offended. Choose not to be hurt. I mean, it's a little harder to choose not to be hurt, but even if you are offended and you are hurt, just say to yourself, maybe this person's having a bad day, or maybe I didn't understand what this person meant, so I should look into it a little further. Don't be so quick to judge someone when they say something. If you get offended, you really need to figure out what the person is trying to say before saying something in retaliation. But always choose peace over anger. Even if you have to confront someone did intentionally hurt you, you need to say something. If we don't ever say anything to people, then they'll just continue to do it and get away with it and think that it's okay. But when you confront someone, do it with grace and kindness and compassion and forgiveness all the time. It will make your life so much easier if you can just stop getting angry and stop being offended about everything. Now, number 14 is stop rushing. We live in a fast-paced society. We want to be at work on time. We want to be at the appointment on time. We are constantly in a rush, it seems like. And if you really think about it, when we rush around, we're trying to beat the clock, we tend to make things worse. We might have an accident, whether in the car or just in our home. I don't know how many times I have tried to get something done quickly. And it would be so stressful for me. I'm running around trying to cook and do other things at the same time, all before like my husband gets in here or something like that. And I remember one day I was in a rush because I had forgot to start the rice. And it takes a long time to cook rice. And I'm like, oh no, so that little thing, I didn't start the rice. It just set off a chain reaction of rushing and stress. So that day, I ended up smashing my finger 2 times, my pinky finger, 2 times in the same spot between the refrigerator and freezer door. And it hurt so bad. It was excruciating. And I thought to myself, if I hadn't have been rushing around trying to get something done, that would never have happened. Yeah, I know you've probably done this before. You're trying to be super careful about something and you're overly careful, so you drop it and you break it or something like that. I've done that so many times. Just take a deep breath and just do everything in a normal pace. Even if you're going to be late for something and you're driving, just slow down, drive the speed limit, and accept that you're going to be late. There's nothing you can do about it, but don't stress over it. Just say, okay, I'll face the consequences. Everything's going to be fine. And go about your life. But rushing is just stressful and causes the situation to be even worse. So to simplify your life and to be more relaxed, just calm down, just slow down. Number 15, and the last one, organize everything, even your junk drawer. And that is also going to be in that episode about decluttering your home. So I'm not going to get too much into that one either. But organization makes you feel like you're walking on air. You know where everything is. You can find everything so much easier. I don't have a junk drawer anymore, but even when I had one, I organized my junk drawer because we tend to just throw everything in there, just everything, because it's the junk drawer. It's a mental thing, well, I can just throw it in the junk drawer. I don't particularly want to throw it away, but you don't really at the same time know why you need to keep it. Organize everything. We have a box under our cabinet where we keep all the nails and screws and washers and those kinds of tool things. I've even went through and organized every single nail and screw. The nails, the different sizes have their own containers, as you can see here. And it's just so much easier to find everything. And I feel like I can sleep at night knowing that my home is organized. Now, of course, right now, as I've shown you in the beginning of this episode, it's very chaotic looking in here. I'm working toward that, but I can assure you everything is organized. You're not going to find anything out of place. The only thing that is driving me crazy right now is all that I explained before about needing to just simplify and remove some of the chaos in here. There's so much chaos with the colors and the decor in particular, and the cords, so we might not be able to do anything about that. But being organized simplifies your life. It takes a heavy burden off your mind, and it actually physically makes you feel better if everything is organized and you can find it, and it's not just shoved up in a closet or in a drawer somewhere. So those are my tips for living a more simple life. There are so many more. I might do another episode on this later, but right now, those are the tips that I have, and I hope they have been helpful to you in some way. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Like and share this video, and subscribe if you haven't already done that. Every little bit helps my channel to grow, and I really appreciate you all for watching. May God bless you, your family, and your life.